咦，咁係咪錄緊㗎啦？
有冇 WhatsApp 喺度？得啦，我
撳咗先。
你撳都冇用，因為佢冇 login number。
唔係撳咗先，撳咗先先。
我已經撳咗先。
哦，係。
佢都係安全。
預備好啦嘛？好，搞。
呢係咪錄緊㗎啦？咁樣而家係。
係啊係啊。
係兩邊都錄緊㗎啦，係嘛？即係 cloud 同埋即係 Zoom cloud 同埋 desktop 都錄緊㗎啦。
係。
哦。
係。
而家 Ashley raise hand。
係啦。
咩？而家就佢哋聽唔聽到我哋講嘢㗎？
聽到㗎，聽到睇。
OK。
Q&A。哦。
对，但是小声一点啊，这个会直接录音，对，声音小一点，对。还没7分钟，8分钟，啊6分钟。
要不要把电话给关？
光咯，要光。開陣間。
Good evening, everyone. So I'm Edwin, and I'm currently working in China property credit research. So tonight for the CFA Society Hong Kong, we have invited Mr. Fred Wong, who is the Chief Investment Officer of eFusion Capital, to share with us a very interesting topic, which is how to apply blood type on investment and how can this help us to understand the stock market better. So and going forward, in May we have two events as well. One is also on the Chinese developers credit with a rating agency, and this event will discuss a bit more about the latest development of the Chinese property market, including what happens with free red lines, etc. So and later on, we also will have another event which is related to the game theory, and this is a sharing by a professor in Hong Kong's University of Science and Technology. So before the start of the event, we would like to remind our audience on something. So the first one is on the Chatham House rule. That means the participants are free to use the information that they receive, but neither the identity nor the affiliation of the speakers nor that of any other participants may be revealed. And also, the contents of this event is only for information purpose only, and it is not intended to share as an investment recommendation. So, and lastly, we appreciate your feedback on this event. And in the meanwhile, if you have any questions about this webinar or to the speaker, please type your question in the Q&A box. So I will hand over the time to Fred. So thank you for that.
Hi, thanks Edwin, thanks everyone. Especially thanks for CFA Society Hong Kong's invitation, S3 invitation on this extremely exciting topic. Let me share the screen first. Okay, recording. Okay, thanks a lot for your participation, and I will make this presentation as punchy as possible because I have a lot of message to deliver today, and it's one step closer to tear down the human consciousness and to apply into investment. So the disclaimer, of course, because I'm AB style, so the disclaimer may be a bit AB style too. So I'm trying the best effort, but may not be the whole picture, but I try best to reveal the whole picture to you. And probably we are in a dimension to understand what is the meaning of life, but to some extent, we need to be humble and to learn how to understand what is our purpose in before we go to the conclusion of how to invest by this theory. So there's an invisible hands in our brains, which is a drop of blood, something like a drop of blood in our brain. Of course, not only single drop. So today I will try to cater for all the audience, but because of audience are from majority may from O because of the population density, A, B, and AB, they have most of our audience have different kinds of logics and preference. However, I can't cater for all, but I try best to cater for all of your preference. So for example, O is more converge to actionable conclusion, desire for that kind of conclusion. A will always ask for whether this theory makes sense. And B will seeking for some fun in this presentation. And AB will theorize something. So CFA Society Hong Kong, as I work with for CFA Society Hong Kong for, as a guest speaker for many events, I also covered other topics. So in case you have some about technology or about other topics, in case you think I can talk about that, you can, especially the unconventional topics, you can feel free to invite me as well. So special thanks to Ashley for giving me this opportunity to speak to you all. And thanks for Celine and other colleagues' help. So most of the people will be quite surprised when I talk to them about the ABO secret. So the key to understand this topic is to be humble. For the keywords, I will use the red sentence or words. So we are not as unique as we think, especially before we understand it and jailbreak. We are unique because our life journey is unique, because the history, our own history is unique, because in terms of nurture, but actually we are under 4 nearly identical main programs, which is nature, I mean. So briefly introduce myself. I have 10 years experience in semiconductor industry and 16 years in the asset management and research industry. So we can, and also we have AI Hong Kong, Artificial Intelligence Hong Kong content. So I will use a lot of semiconductor, AI, those some works on it, but not very technical. Don't worry. And I published several books. My favorite one, of course, the blood type book. And I can't resist to write those blood type elements in all the investment books. And this is my contact. In case you want to contact me, feel free to WeChat or WhatsApp or visit our YouTube channel. But better to give me some background information about your where are you from, what's your job, what's your career, you're in finance sector or in semiconductor industry sector, or what kind of sector are you in, so that we can facilitate communication better. So each slide will go very fast from now on. So please, in case you are watching the video or wherever, feel free to pause to revisit the content. So this presentation will be divided into 3 parts: introduction, phenomenon, and the reason, the hypothesis. So open your mind, open, enjoy. So we will cover several aspects to apply in investment. The ABO neuroscience, which is very close related to the ABO in my view, the AI semiconductor, philosophy and theology. So both depth and breadth require both depth and breadth. So fundamental, why there's some echo. There's some echo. What is some echo?
I think that was better.
Oh, okay. The behavioral finance is much more important than the fundamental, especially in the quantitative easing era. When we price a stock or an asset, it's E plus P over E. So the earning is no longer so important in the QE, extremely money printing. Now the PE is most important. That's why we talk about ABO, which is blood type. So most of the people would be quite interested to know which blood type is the best. Actually, it's not no such things. We are divided through four groups of people, but it's not about ability. It's about willingness. ABO is about willingness, just like CFA buzzword. So, but willingness will drive ability through the daily life, through our job, through our hobby. If you don't have religion, the values will transform to the value of the stock of the asset. So that's why we need to take care about the values, the 价值观. This is extremely important, and it's a collective way, because when we are talking about a company, it's a collective. It's a group of people instead of, but of course the CEO or the decision making person is most important, but it's a group of people. So try to navigate the values to value, no matter we buy or we short sell it. But we will find that a lot of navigation from news, announcement, rating changes from analysts or the macro news. For example, the media keep refreshing us in the mainstream area, the TV, the newspaper. So we always heard about Tesla, always heard about Bitcoin. So that's why Tesla buy a lot of Bitcoin and they become another popular story again. So we have been heavily influencing by those of narrative, a lot of hidden agenda inside. This is the book that I have published a few years ago with Eugenia Wang. This one you can find it on Amazon in case ebook and Kindle. And we have a website, bloodtype.ai, not .com, it's .ai. Feel free to visit. And another two books, investment books, couple of years ago, about the skill of investment, especially in the technology stocks. So those. And we have special thanks to our Japanese friends, including the ABO, which research centers, Chieko Ichikawa-san, and my good friend Masayuki Kanazawa-san. He published couples of several books on Amazon as well, and in both Japanese and English. And they have a lot of statistics, talking about 300,000 people under his statistics, and he submitted to journal, so you can find his works there as well. And for my Chinese friend, we have couples of Chinese friends also have a lot of research idea on this topic, especially Mr. Fan Chenyan, who gave me a lot of inspiration. So we did a lot of. If you are my friend, you will know that I nearly asked everyone about the blood type, including taxi driver and the restaurant's waiter. So a lot of people I have been interviewed or asked in the past several decades. So a big set of statistics. Of course, I didn't write them down on paper, but most of them are in my head, and I always forget their name, but I always remember their blood type. So most of people desire to take away one sentence, one formula, actionable, intuition, and then file codes. I try my best, but a bit difficult, a bit different. Human can always choose what they want to do, what is free will. Human can always choose what we want to do, but human not aware why we like or why we dislike that. For example, if we like to eat ice cream, we can buy ice cream, chocolate ice cream or whatever ice cream. But why we like ice cream? This is another, to some extent, it's a philosophical question. So for example, we keep looking for happiness, but why we need to look for happiness? Why? What drives us to look for happiness? It seems to be a norm that we happy life. We should have a happy life on earth. But why? It's very difficult to answer. I will try to explain it by neuroscience terms. So the first conclusion of we have three conclusions in this presentation. The first conclusion is the human being, including me, myself, heavily dictated by the flesh or ego. The ego, what Freud means ego, the ABO, until the helicopter can save us. So the solution is to remain humble and also go down to surface. So second part of our talk. So remember, I already gave 1/3 of the conclusion. So the second part of the talk is about amoeba, the dimension to sheep and to sheep herd. So for O, hit and run, hunter, in my statistics, more fund managers, part-time MBA, full-time a bit different. I observe that part-time MBA more O, and CEO's O means the blood type O, entrepreneur, cryptocurrency trader, dealer. AB is totally different. Why I put AB here? Because usually I put O, A, B as a sequence. But here I put AB because AB is, to some extent, is opposite of O. Totally opposite. But the best complement in long run. The typical career will be lawyer and philosopher. Farmer is A. Fixed income, long term. Accountant, compliance, you can observe by your own. The VC and media, advertisement, exciting career by B, nomad. Those are the more than 100 companies, a listed company, technology company that we have been in close contact. I just highlight some big market cap only. And most of them, we keep asking their blood type, and so that we know their culture under their management. So we can divide into few parts for the game. So in short, investment style for O, hunt, hit and run. New trendy. You can find out your own here. For AB, it's a mix of A and B, but not simply adding A and B. It's a bit different. So A, look for causation. The reasoning makes sense. Why? And O looks for conclusion, key points, actionable key points. B look for interesting point, funny things. AB look for meaning. So a bit diversified. So cryptocurrency, I observed that most of the cryptocurrency player, heavy player are O, more than B, much more. Some are B, and very few A, B, and A. You can observe by your own. For AI, more on A and AB, relatively. But crypto more obvious. You can. So usually O will say, I want get it done. A should. The keyword should. Causation, right? So B is about I don't care. I don't mind. So what? So who cares? So B is more happy, to some extent. AB is wait a minute. Well, not enough data, but criticize. Best friends tend to be, this is a trend, but not a must. If you are O, you will find your best friend highly likely to be O or B, less A and AB. It's natural selection. If you are A, then A or AB. You can observe by your own. Okay, similar command set does not mean they are friends. For example, both A, not mean it doesn't mean that you must be good friend. It doesn't mean, but the chance is higher because the thinking logic a bit similar. So the viewpoint, the view angles on people. O is a circle. It's an inner circle. If your friends are in your inner circle, you will protect them very well. You always ask them, you keep communicating with them. You always ask whether you have lunch or dinner, whether you are sick recently, blah, blah, blah. Always care about the circle, people inside the circle. If you are classified outside of his circle, maybe not much contact. So for A, it's a hierarchy. It's a hierarchy. It's a left with ladder, with layer. B is flat, same level. AB is a mix of A and B, so it's struggle between A and B. So it's sometimes A, sometimes B. So I'm going some more. What is the command set in computer? In the old days, we are copy star, pawn star, dot star, dot mode. In the C program, in the Python, this is the command set. So today we are talking about our brain command set. Just like our smartphone is ARM version, the instruction set V8 or x86 or RISC-V in UC Berkeley is about command sets and instruction sets. This is something new. I think it should be quite new in the ABO research area. So the unconscious set, for example, someone will say, assume, are you respecting me? And some instruction set, you should. And some instruction set, why not? We can try, why not? And some instruction set, you are wrong. So this is some unconscious command sets. You may not, your friend or your wife, your best friend will aware, but you may not aware. And some command set you can aware easily. Command sets or buzzwords for O, execute, act. You will feel quite familiar with those words because those are the command set controlling our brain. We will be happy. We will get reward from those words. We will be rewarded. That's why we choose to unconsciously or consciously use those verbs. For AB, it's opposite. I intentionally put it here. It's opposite. Judge, balance, struggle, debate. For A, make sense. Is that make sense? Plan, long-term plan. Store, accumulate, right? Ratio, the different ratio. Prioritize. A in that sense. The opposite of A is B. B is to extend, to seek, to expand. Total different, right? You can see the contrast. So ABO to some extent is not something vague. It's very clear. Package of non-conflict command set. Those command sets are not conflicting each other. So micro and macro. Top fund manager performance. The top performance managers, fund managers, I appreciate and learn how the manipulators set the trap for ship. This is what I observe. Observe smart navigators, which is fund flow. Smart money control the psychology through the media. Command set, if no religion. Why I keep saying if no religion? Because religion will change it. I will explain later. But religion is very important. If you don't have religion, most of the people will follow this ego, will follow the ABO ego. Some RQ 精神, RQ spirit. I don't know how to translate to English. RQ 精神. So biohacking is a quite interesting word, modern analogy. So our brain, the left-hand side is our brain. The right-hand side is a semiconductor. Right-hand side chose silicon. We chose silicon, but the creator chose carbon. Both are group 4 elements. the good column, group 4 element, right? You remember the periodic table, the chemistry, the periodic table, and the neural network, just like model, CMOS, transistor, or very large scale integration, VLSI. On the other hand, in CMOS, in semiconductors, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, right? 0, 1. And then for the DNA is ATCG, ATCG. So similar pattern, similar. And I aware that there's a buffering barrier. Then in some area of our brain, the buffering barrier not exist. Neuroscientists will know, or we can feel free to search in the Wikipedia. And antigen A and antigen B is very critical. This is still the black box. So that's why I put a Nobel Prize on the top right corner, waiting for people to get this Nobel Prize. I'm quite sure that it is a very important Nobel Prize to decode the human secret. Okay, another slide, second slide. Neural network, machine learning. Just like machine learning, CNN, the convolutional neural network, the recurrent neural network, GAN, the SNN, a threshold. You can compare the sodium, the calcium channel, the chlorine channel, just like electron. Hippocampus translate, compile, translate the short-term memory to the frontal cortex to become the long-term memory. This is something a bit deep, but in case you are a neuroscientist or you are semiconductor industry people, you will understand. But it doesn't affect the coming slides. Don't worry if you feel very difficult for these few slides. In Japan, we always heard about temperament, 气质, 氣質. But I think command says a more origin than 氣質, than temperament. So when we are talking about when we talk about the behavior of different blood types, it's high error rate, very high error rate. Why? Because it's not about behavior. Behavior including nurture, your upbringing, your secondary school, what is your career, you under the mold of your career or your culture. But command set is inside your head, only you know. So the common point is the electricity, electron. But if we talk about, so transistor are very similar to neuron, right? And if we talk about quantum computer, quantum mechanics or entropy, which is thermodynamics, it is maybe a bit too far. But I think it's not unlikely that our brain work in entropy way, diverge, converge, diverge, converge, left and right brain. But most of people believe of authority. So only Elon Musk, we trust Elon Musk, even inventing the new link, or we trust the Nobel Prize winners only. So this is the fact. But anyway, quite upset. So the antigen in the command set affecting the source code, the program, the source code, the original code of the program, and then compiler, library, kernel, and then the firmware, which is the interface of the semiconductor language and the IC and the integrated circuit. So the preference, 喜好, preference, and the values. This part, the small black box here, well, why this is the black box? We still don't know what is the black box inside, but we know this should be the path to understand why our ABO antigen controlling our mind. Okay, for example, going one more level downwards. Oh, more sensors, feeling, more register, the memory register, but very short period of time, less HDD. HDD means hard disk. Hard disk more long term or flash memory, for example. For A is using the left brain more dominating or decision making. Of course, everyone will use all part of the brain, but just dominance or the decision making part, left CPU, right GPU. Okay. FPG is the field programmable few programmable gate array. Yes, the FPGA Xilinx Altera. This is a bit deep. And the memories, non-volatile memory, NAND Flash, remember it, long-term memory. So deterministic universe, that means we cannot change the story. Free will, we have free will, right? Most of the people think, we can decide what we want. As I repeat once and once again, we can decide what to do, which restaurant we want to go. But most of the time, we don't know why we like it. It's because the command set, because it's controlling by the command set, not by ourselves. So to some extent, it's stronger in the emotional empathy, 共情心, and AB relatively stronger in cognitive empathy, I think, 同理心. But anyway, that is a bit controversial. I'm not going to explain in details here. So the highest dimension to me is an unconditional conscious love, which is creator to human. When we are paying the pets, we are unconsciously like to adopt a pet, a dog or cat or wherever. For stock market, of course, and the lovers, parents. It's different dimension. The only unconditional and conscious love is from God to us. So now, because of the semiconductor industry, TSMC and those are Intel, many news. So everybody become expert. So from baby, when we just born, our neurons are not well connected, and later on connected and become dominant. So free stage. The CMOS and transistor very similar to what how our neuron works. So now you may feel a bit confused, right? You can bring me. Then if you feel better, you can bring me. But I try to cater for most of your needs, but it's difficult to explain very clearly. And I'm writing AB script, the flow. And another reason is the memory. You try to retrieve the long-term memory to understand what I'm talking about. It consumes a lot of energy. So most of people dislike and try to save brain energy. So just hope to have a PPT to let them understand step by step. But if step by step, I can talk about maybe 10 hours. So it's a bit jumpy. You will feel a bit jumpy. And most of people will like direct conclusion and immediate application, right? So as I mentioned that I try to cater for all, but it's difficult. So most of people think, blood type only four types. So human only 4 types. I always reply that human only male and female. So if you think 4 types is too limited, then maybe 12, maybe 16, maybe 12, 30. That will be more convincing. It's not logical, actually. And a lot of friends told me that whether you have studied I Ching, you do have MBTI, DSC, horoscope. I'm interested, but I'm more interested in the neuroscience and ABO. And until somebody got Nobel Prize, for example, thinking fast and slow, sorry, the wrong spelling. So slow, fast and slow, the system 1 and 2. Until some neuroscientists can use experiment to prove it, then everybody, oh yes, you are right. Otherwise, not many people believe. So to me, I think just like philosophy analogy, many people are finding the black cat in a dark room, or finding a pair of black socks without smell. Because somebody will say, the smell, or the cat's eye are open, so that you can see the eyes. No. Black cat in a dark room. we should tear down step by step. Okay, so second conclusion of this PPT is dimension upgrade, the deterministic world versus the free will. Spiritual journey, my own spiritual journey is from Ecclesiastes, which is in the Bible of the Old Testament, written or the story about the King Solomon, especially the 12:14, inspired me a lot about this theory. 血气 ego, the flesh. So the only way to leave this maze or prison is not to search by your own to philosophy like love wisdom, right? The wisdom can let you go to the edge of the maze or the edge of the prison, but still cannot get out, I guess. This is my my judgment. I'm not so sure, but I tend to believe in this way. So level 3, just like level 3 level. A bit like the red cross, right? The cross. So the brain, AB try to think in pattern or meaning, and O try to think in action, conclusion, speedy, fast, punchy. A is opposite, so it's opposite. So the distance of AB and O is very far away. Missed the word O, yeah. The left-hand side is the A, which is the left brain, and the right side is the B, spatial thinking. The left brain is logical, it makes sense, sequence, prioritize. And by going into the middle of the cross is our ultimate goal. So use 2 words for each prototype. O is fast, action. Yeah, you can see A, B, and AB, yeah. Right? You can try to think whether it's suitable for you. Less dimension, go extreme. More dimension, then go spiritual. Extreme and spiritual. The way to understand ABO is to go spiritual, in my view. Less dimension or low dimension, I tend to use less. It's not up and down. So fight or flight, fear and greed in the stock market, microscopic, small cap, high dimension, spiritual, macro, and large cap. It doesn't mean that which dimension is better, but we need to navigate in 2 dimensions for better fund performance as well. Dimension upgrade means wisdom down low. It's very important to upgrade our dimension, but go back to the presence, to feel the now, feel it. Just like someone do the meditation or promoting the meditation, to feel is the presence, is low dimension. To feel it by your sense. Don't use logical methodology. The dimension upgrade is to both analysis and to feel. So what is emotion? Emotion is neurotransmitter, the hormone, the unbalanced force. We talk about entropy, is order to disorder, just like playing the snooker or the entropy, the thermodynamic. So sensors, it's not a very perfect step-by-step priority, but it includes most of the spiritual words or spiritual behavior, including the meaning of life, free will, semantics, the meaning of the word. So we actually in a pre-programmed happiness. It's amazing. We think we have free will, but actually that's why I always say that most of the human are not really so unique. We are in the same program. Couples of movies are quite interesting and inspiring. In the past, I like Matrix, Inception, but after I watched Westworld and the Germany drama Dark, D-A-R-K, Dark, wow, it's totally different story. And then the Shrek is also very good, excellent. If you haven't watched this free drama or movie, highly recommend you to take a look, to upgrade your dimension. It's totally upgrade 2 or 3 dimensions, much higher than the current dimension. Matrix and Inception is already excellent, but Westwell and Dark is totally different, and another dimension. So as you may know that I always do tear down, but instead of tearing down the mobile phone, this time we tear down the soul, S-O-U-L, the spirit. So investment heavily related. So there's around 40 something billion in left neuron in our left brain, 40 something billion in our right brain. It should be identical neuron in my view at the beginning, but the connection varies after you're born because of the OS run into the command set run into the brain. So gradually the left brain become logical and the right brain become imaginative. And there's around 300 million of connection in the callosum, in the bridge of the two left and right brain. Left brain sequence, right? Time. Right brain is the space. So type A people, fixed space, let the time run. This is what will make A more comfortable. And for B, they like to navigate. They like to go everywhere. They don't mind traveling most of the time. B. So this is because they like a wide space. Wow. This is the reason why A and B have totally different favor. But of course, some A will like to travel. There are a lot of exception and a lot of nurture behind. But in the nature side, I think can be divided in this section. So LO means long only fund, the mutual fund. HF means a hedge fund. So when your left brain is big, it's dominant, not big. It's dominant. It's A type, and the second one, this one, is B type. The multiple connections, switch. This is O. This is O, and this is AB. Okay, see whether it is applicable to you. Okay, it is a Japanese which inspired me a lot a few years ago, around 3 years ago. They did an experiment. So the O, I will explain later on. So O is alternatively. For example, this is open. The left hand is open. The right hand is closed. Right. Diverge and converge. Diverge and converge. This is A. Okay. Then this is B. So for O is alternatively. Jump, and then catch the key point. Conclusion. Actionable. AB is simultaneously, but not jumping. So catch key points much slower than other block type. Here, we get the sensor hub or the frontal loop. For example, the register, focus. So that's why O always focus. The register X and Y. And for hard disk, long-term memory. This is long-term memory. This is A, right? So you can. So DRAM, the DRAM is very fast, but DRAM is not long-term memory. Or B will remember the picture, remember the photo, remember the image better than the other aspect. For AB, remember a lot of things, but most of maybe rubbish. But we can't resist remember all the rubbish for future use. So I will take an example. For O, it's focused, rest mode, remain, and then left brain open, diverge, and then this way. And then take a rest. Conclusion got action by hands and body. This is what I discovered. Okay, the memory. More memory means more data and more anchoring. It's good and it's bad. It is the two sides of the coin. So nothing is good or bad. It depends on where you applied it. So imagination, behavioral finance. That's why I keep writing those books on these themes. So edge computing now. ABO only dictate our soul, S-O-U-L, our soul, but not our spirit. If we surrender, we are humble enough, we download the wisdom from the crowd, then our soul will no longer dictate us. But it's very difficult. Even very spiritual people will still have ego, but much less. But edge computing is relying on ourselves, edge computing. Let's take a test. Well, what do you see in the first second? One word, only one word, only one. Okay, 1 second. Suppose A will see the word A, B will see the word B. O and AB, difficult to say. It depends. you can check. But this one is CFA. I think it's to some extent corresponding to four types of broad types, but leave it to you yourself. You can observe that a lot of people with WhatsApp and WeChat, right? So, or Line, Japan friends with Line. There's a signature under your name. You try to see, because that signature is the word, is the feeling that the guy would like to deliver. This is the summary of the summary. So most of the time, that reflecting his blood type. I usually analyze that sentence to figure out his or her blood type. So this is like a circuit diagram for our body and soul and the spirit. And God influence our spirit. The soul, 心思意念情感，心思意念情感。The mind. I don't know how to translate, but anyway, soul can be divided into 3 parts, and the spirit also can be divided into 3 parts. Okay, there's another angle to see how the spiritual heart works. In the microscopic view is a dopamine reward system, right? Dopamine, serotonin, blah blah blah. There's a neurotransmitter. You can. We don't have time to because I only have 5 minutes left. So this chart is to elaborate in the microscopic view, just like a neuron. It's very similar to the transistor. It's electron. It's sodium channel. It's calcium channel. It's synaptic. It's triggering. It's firing. Just like a transistor. Just like a water tape. Anyway, in this book is the backbone of the drama. Westwell is the backbone. Searching for the origin of the consciousness. Wow, so cool. Just like I think, therefore I am. It's another. To me, I think it's another dimension, high, even higher than, different. I can't say higher. It's different than I think, therefore I am. Amazed to the promised land. In the Westwell, in the drama Westwell, it said we go into the maze, not going out of the maze. This is ABO. We try to understand why we behave like this, instead of always try to figure out what is outside the universe, what is outside the galaxy. We try to understand what is inside us, why we are here, why we have free will, or do we really have free will, or is it deterministic, or we have choice? Do we really have the choice, or there's a promised land waiting for us by God, prepared by God. So again, pre-program or reprogram. Are you still in the pre-program mode, or you are already reprogrammed yourself? I am still understanding my pre-program, my own pre-programming language, and try to elaborate more. So that's why I'm so keen on talking about this topic. Search or research. Search, just shadow. Research is so in-depth, just like CFA Society always encourage us to do in-depth research, right? What's in-depth research? Understand yourself, understand human, and the key is humble. For me, I try to be humble and pray. I'm not doing good, but long way to go. So red pill and blue pill, just like Matrix, right? The painful. Are you willing to be the painful Socrates, or you prefer to be happy pig, to have someone feed you? So we need the helicopter. We need the helicopter to have a ladder for us to exit the maze. So humble and confess. Humble and confess. The journey, the wonderful journey, starts from humble mind and to confess. So the last conclusion: free will really exists. Human can always choose what you want to do, but human don't know why I like that. Just like number or let's say color or hobby or whatever you can name it. I ask, what do you like? Oh, you like this, you like that. Oh, why you like that? Oh, it's closer to my home. Oh, why you like this number or this color? I don't know. I just like. Will you curious whether this is pre-programmed in your mind? It's not really what you want, but your brain have been pre-programmed. This is the searching for happiness. Happiness is just a kind of neurotransmitter in your brain, keep rewarding you to keep you do something, repeat and in a repeat way. What is purpose? Okay, we can do this is my name card. In case you like to have a soft copy, you can take a photo. And in my name card, here is some secret. My blood type and my horoscope already here, and also some our company's strategy also here. you can see it from an angle. You can print it out and you can see it from this angle. You can see there. Anyway, the eye level, the same eye level. Then you can see. Okay, common feedback for this controversial topic. I guess if all likes this topic, topic to talk, it's good topic to talk to people, to know people, to trace girls. It's very easy. That it's a tool, it's an application. But if all dislike our topic, our talk, no conclusion, no example, no actionable idea, useless. Okay, for A, it makes sense. Or if A do not like our talk, not logical, totally not logical. B is special, ignore, inspiring, no proof. Okay. try to figure out whether you have such bipolar feedback. Okay, the last 3 pages. What is your direct interpretation of the word purpose in Chinese? Different people have different, quite different, very special word, purpose. Tell me, send your questions, send your answers to me by WeChat, WhatsApp, or wherever in the previous page. Who is the best friend? Who is your best friend? Is it really your own blood type or the adjacent blood type, but not the opposite one? You can observe O relative closer to B. So O maybe O or B. A maybe A or AB. For example, just for example, but AB's the size, the sample size is too small. Yeah. So this is the conclude my talk. This is the oh yeah, this is YouTube. If you would like to discuss more, you can visit my YouTube channel. You can find me Fred Wong, W-O-N-G. Yeah, you can find me from a lot about neuroscience and how to apply in ABO. Of course, it's very controversial. I'm not a neuroscientist. I need to do a disclaimer. I'm not a neuroscientist. I just like that topic. I always search a lot of knowledge here, and we have a colleague just study the neuroscientist master degree. So I always consult his Yuan. I also consult his idea. Not meaning he agree with me. Just I try to explain how I learn neuroscience, and it's my hobby, and how to pop into, and including the semiconductor, including AI, including theology and philosophy, and pop into the ABO. And I find, oh, it's really that case. Yeah. So this is my contact in case you would like to contact with us. Okay. Yeah, so that's the end of my PPT. And again, thanks a lot for CFA Society Hong Kong's invitation, Ashley Khoo's invitation, and Edwin and Celine and other colleagues have. Thanks a lot. Thanks for your attention and patience and feedback. So I stop sharing here, right? Edwin or.
Oh, okay. So thank you, Fred, for your very interesting talk and discussion. So here we actually have several questions, I mean, from the audience. The first one is, what blood type do you think will earn the best performance in the next 10 years?
Next 10 years. Oh.
Stocks, like stock market or like any asset class that the blood type whatever investing in next 10 years, then who, for example.
I always talk. I always think that the O has some advantage in the market, especially the Asian market. The reason behind, excluding Japan, because Japan, the majority of the population is A. For Hong Kong, for China, for Taiwan, or for Asian countries, regions, Greater China, I found because of the population, 40%. You can search from the Wikipedia; it keep updating, I think. So 40% of the population is from O, and this is the first factor. The second factor is O has a stronger emotional empathy, so they can navigate the sentiment. They can navigate the feeling, the media, much better than others. Oh, okay. Second point. The third point is that the O response, the response time much shorter than others. So the reaction time much faster, and they are actionable. They always would like to draw conclusion every minute. Draw conclusion, action. Draw conclusion, action, and then take a rest, and then draw conclusion, action. So that's why it makes O much easier to capture the immediate market movement. So they can navigate, but it's necessary but not sufficient. So most of the O are not good players. But my experience that I have several friends are doing investing very well and earn a lot of money many times. Some are fund managers, some are typical and just a personal investor, but very rich personal investor. Then the commonality, something in common, they are all of them are O. So that makes me quite upset at some point. Oh, how come? And O is opposite of AB. So that's why we structure the fund actually to accommodate the O market. So in order to increase the chance to win in the stock market, I highly recommend to understand how O thinks. And because A will focus on fixed income, bond, more, and B is more adventurous. So O and B is closer to O. As I always mention that B is relatively closer to O, and B's response also very fast. So I think we better to analyze O and B to understand how the market works, especially O. Especially to analyze O. Yeah, I'm not sure whether I'm answering the question, but and one more tip for you. For most of the richest people in the world are O, including like Steve Jobs, like Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk. I'm not sure. Elon Musk is someone I'm not so sure. Warren Buffett, I'm not so sure. I'm not very sure. But I think O possibility not low as well. But Soros, I think, not like O. George Soros not O, because from his reflexivity, fallibility, complicated, and his philosophy, I don't think he is O. He maybe opposite to O. But Warren Buffett, I think O chance not low.
I see.
But although he focused on long term, I know he always state about that thing. But his hidden his command set seems to be not likely to be O. I'm not sure. Likely, because a lot of people think it's A or maybe, but I think not. It's possible to be O. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
So any difference between O plus and O minus? There's an audience asking.
Oh yeah. There's only 0.5% or even lower population is minus in Asian countries. For RH negative or RH minus, right? In US and Europe, there's around 18%, so 16 to 18%, something like that. So around it's quite high RH minus in. So in Asia, we don't have much sample, but according to Japanese the pioneer, they once said that the miners are a bit less. I don't know how to translate because not exactly, but something like that. But actually, I'm not totally convinced that by that, because we don't have many samples to analyze, so cannot draw the conclusions. So even Japan, the population size for our RH negative is so small, very, very small. But it is interesting that on the antigen, on the rubber cell, there's a lot of antigen, as a cell around 30 something kind of antigens, and ABO is only one set of the antigen. RH minus and RH positive, another class, but we want to ask a question that only AB antigen are sugar. Most of the other antigens on the rubber cell are carbohydrates. It's not sugar, it's carbohydrate. But you can imagine there's a lot of antigen. Antigen sugar is food. SFOOD is food. Why you need to carry so much food on a rubber cell every second on your body? Why? If it is useless according to evolution theory or wherever why you need to carry more antigen every second? And in COVID as well. In COVID-19 is already global statistics that showing type O is more defensive on COVID-19. Less chance to get infected. Even get infected, less chance to go into emergency room or using the breathing machine. But for A is the weakest. And AB less easy, similar easy to get it's not up or down. But if AB also infected, similar case to A. So that's AB is weaker as well. A and AB is weaker in general. B is average. O is defensive. O is the strongest one. It's about blood clot, CLOT. Blood clot, the velocity of the blood or whatever. I'm not very sure there, but it's worth to study. Yeah.
I see. So another question is, can we use the ABO type to predict how our investors are and design what is our investing or communication strategies that work for them?
To predict how our investor.
So to predict how our investors are, using the blood type to predict how our investors are, and design what kind of investing and communication strategies that work for them.
I'm not sure whether I understand the questions. There's a tendency for A to look for, just like a farmer. So you can imagine that you're a farmer. You stay in a house, and then you have a farmland. So you keep planting your food and waiting them to give you dividend. So A, to some extent, like fixed income, very predictable. You can plan, you can wait, you can patiently. A is that kind, more happy to do it. So for tech stock, for example, up and down and down and down, and very volatile, and especially cryptocurrency. I think not A style, but it doesn't fit that style. Doesn't mean that it is not profitable. Just you will find uncomfortable doing that. For B, for O, as I said, cryptocurrency, most not all. Necessary but not sufficient. Okay, necessary but most of the O will not buy cryptocurrency. Most of them will not buy Ethereum or Bitcoin. But whenever you found someone very into this game, into the Bitcoin game or the Ethereum game or the cryptocurrency, they bought or not, either O or B. So that's why you can feel that, oh, your personality, you gradually understand why you behave like that, because you're to some extent controlled by those command set. And if chasing happiness is your ultimate goal or your meaning of life, then you just follow the command. Follow the command because that is the command dictating you. If you don't want to exit the maze or exit the prison, then you stay in the prison, and then you make yourself much happier than other prisoner by following your program after you found the program. How your program command set form. I'm not sure whether I answer correctly.
Yeah, especially if your program is successful and people follow you, and then you make even more money. You make even more money or high return.
Yeah, yeah. The positive loop. The positive loop. You fall into the positive loop. The reward system also the positive loop. You do it and you finish it and you get a reward, and a psychological reward, not only the money. You got a psychological reward, and then you invest more time in it, and it is a positive loop, and you'll be very successful in the commercial terms. In the commercial terms, it doesn't mean that you are very successful in the spiritual terms, but most of people prefer to stay in a maze to maximize the profit, to live in a big house, to eat whatever they want, to go and not place to pay, blah blah blah. Then you can follow the program because you can also be happier after you discover that how your program set, and it's very useful to deal with your husband or your wife, your girlfriend, or once you understand, less conflict, and you know how to complement with them. You know how to match with them. Yeah. So it is. So a lot of people asking, what was the use of ABO theory? I'm using every second. Come on, why you don't? Why you? It's not applicable. It's applicable every second. Every second.
Yeah. Okay. So last but not least, I think the time is almost up. So should we call it the end of today's webinar, or you still have a bit of sharing thread that you want to do with the audience?
Yeah, I think the closing remark is that, especially related to CFA or CFA Society, I think we learn a lot of fundamental analysis in the CFA curriculum, and we working in the most of the CFA Society Hong Kong's member are also working in the finance industry. The fundamental, we learn a lot of fundamental in the curriculum. However, you can see that you can aware that the behavioral finance, to some extent, is the element or the decision factor whether you are outperforming others or underperforming others. Not the fundamental analysis is basic. It's just like everybody should have that kind of analysis. But if you understand the behavioral finance in depth, you understand yourself first, from yourself, understand your neighbor, your wife, your husband, your son, your daughter, your parents, and then you start from there and you try to observe, be open mind to observe and to feel the command set. Then you understand a small group of people, and then gradually you understand how the market works, and it will totally. I'm quite sure that it will significantly improve the performance in long term, not short term. Because short term, you just like swimming, you sometimes will drink water during your training process. So for me, for AB, the learning curve is super long. I spent a lot of years, nearly a few decades it's super long because I need to make things very clear. So actually, frankly speaking, to me, still few months ago, I realized it's command set. Oh, it's command set. I understand now. So that's why I'm so excited to share this video with my friends or even Japanese friends, or to let them to continue to go into this research, do more experiment, and then someone I will clap hands for them. Someone will get Nobel Prize or similar prize or wherever, will find out the truth. This is the human consciousness. You can decode the human consciousness. It's a big thing. It's the origin of species. As big as Darwin's book, The Origin of Species. I think that's why I'm so yeah. So anyway, so excited. Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thanks for Fred for this interesting sharing today, and we call it the end of today's webinar. So thank you for your time as well for participating. So thank you.
Thanks everyone. Yeah, be humble and confess.